Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel. Kindly subscribe if you're new to this channel. Hit the notification bell so that whenever we post, you'll be notified. I really do appreciate your time, joining us here every day as we post educational um, tools on relationship and marriage. My goal here is not just for you to be in a relationship or have a relationship, but to have a healthy, love-filled, fulfilled marriage or relationship. We understand how difficult it can be with marriages and relationships nowadays because a lot of people have lost hope, they've lost trust, they've lost pretty much whatever it is they said it's beneficial for marriages and relationships. But we're here to give you hope. One of the best ways to actually have hope is working on yourself. And once you've worked on yourself, another big part of you, having that chance or possibility to have a healthy, fulfilled marriage or relationship will be to make sure you pick wisely. Most of our videos are more detailed, explaining things. And if you have specific needs or need assistance of any sort in terms of your relationship or your marriage, and you're looking to have a qualified um, and understanding love coach, relationship coach, you can always hit me up. You will always see my details at the end of all my lessons. Today's class is about restoring love after infidelity. Infidelity is one of the biggest, you know, reasons why a lot of marriages and relationships have ended. This week alone, I've already had at least 6 couples that ended their relationship as a result of infidelity. Infidelity on the male side and the female side. So infidelity can pretty much um, be come from anyone. So there are so many reasons why people may step out of their relationship to cheat. Um, Whatever the reason might be, there's always a guiding principle behind, you know, people who cheat. It's pretty much about lack of self-respect, you know. Some people will say, oh, my needs were not met. But at the end of the day, it's all about that vacuum that needs to be filled. It's not excusable. I understand that for some people, infidelity is not a biggie. It's not a big deal. They can they can really live well and function well in a relationship. They're okay with it. But for some, it's huge. It's a deal breaker. It's a problem. In fact, they've divorced and separated from their relationship as a result of infidelity. So it depends on where you fall. You fall means whether it's acceptable to you or it's not, whatever the case may be. This is pretty much for people who are going through it, have gone through it, or they're struggling to, and the process of it, or just for you to even learn in case it happens. It's not like you're hoping for the worst in your relationship, but sometimes you never know. Every day of you being in a relationship is risky. Sometimes the person you know and love the most might end up hurting you for whatever selfish reason that might be. But anyway, that's not my hope and prayers for you. I just want to give you this information so that you can hopefully, have the knowledge. And if you're going through it, I really sympathize with you. And some of the things I will say today might be beneficial for you. If you can apply them, that's really crucial. But I want to stress the fact that rebuilding trust after infidelity requires both parties to be intentional and honest about how they want to go about it. You cannot fake it. You cannot pretend to be working towards rebuilding trust when you're in fact hiding from it. That is like you're making the matters worse. Okay, I would explain in due course. So it's very important for the people who are working towards rebuilding trust. By that I mean the betrayed and the betrayer. You must, you must be honest. You must be honest. Being patient is one thing, committing to it is another thing, but you must be honest about what you need. I've seen couples who pretended to be honest in terms of, especially the betrayed, who, remained in the relationship, acted for, for 3 or 4 years, that he was really sorry for the hurts that he caused in their relationship. But in the meantime, he was just hiding things. He actually hired someone who was managing his infidelity, like the person was on full on calls, excuse me, taking calls for them, writing, replying to the numerous women he was, engaging with. He will come to the house and act as if, you know, we have limited communication. And whenever he called, they were using those phones that he purchased for, these transactions. So honesty is really key. You've already hurt your partner. It's up to you to make it work this time around. I often say to people that if you know you cannot be monogamous or faithful in a relationship, don't even engage in any form of relationship. Don't engage in long term marriage commitments, anything. Just live your life passively. So, when you meet somebody, let them know that you're not here to commit. You're not here to commit. I watched a movie on Netflix the other day. Actually, so interesting. The guy would, tell people I don't date. I don't remember the name of the movie. I think it was some South African movies. I don't remember the name. I think it was a new release, by the way. The guy was upfront telling every girl he met that I'm not here to date. But guess what? He managed to still get people to engage with him sexually. I know it's quite challenging. I don't have the science behind it, but it's so difficult for most women. There are some women who may, engage sexually and not be emotionally tied or attached to somebody. But rarely, very rarely, you see people who will stay true to it. Is it not, what do they call them? Friends with benefit. Most women would develop attachment over time. Um, so, but that does not mean they don't have women who are, so emotionally numb. Like they don't have any emotion, like they're just on roller coaster. The other day, I had a client actually who told me about his girlfriend. Like this guy was crying actually. His girlfriend was just like he sleeps with random people, like he has sex with different people. Like there's no attachment. So there are people like that. So, but one thing I know for sure that um, infidelity, is a symptom of a disease or sickness emotional sickness people have. So, for you to overcome it, you need to trace it back to the root cause. So, I wanted to stress that if you have if you are dealing with infidelity or you're trying to rebuild trust, it's really important for the people, especially the person who is struggling to be faithful, to make sure they are really honest with where they are. Because what some of them will do is they will hide the traces and they will pretend to their partners as if they are repentant. So be honest. You can stay single and have the freedom and the liberty you need. You can be where you want to be, but do not engage someone emotionally just to break their heart. This is just a public plea. I'm just begging you on behalf of people I know and people I don't know, don't do it. If you know you do not have the ability to be faithful, please stay single. Stay single and be upfront with women. I know in that movie as well, if I remember clearly, the one of the girls the guy had, sexual relations with, became emotionally attached and she came, to fight him back and all of those shenanigan behavior. But anyway, most of the people that he engaged with quite understood and they were happy to just take something or nothing. So back to the lesson or class today. It's very important for you to rebuild trust. For you to rebuild trust, it's very important for you to be genuinely and sincerely honest with where you stand. Do not lead your partner on or pretend to repent when in fact your approach and strategy had just changed, but you haven't changed. So I have designed some, steps for you if you decide to stay in the relationship after the infidelity. You have to know where you are. You can't stay because people say stay. You know your mental capacity. If this is going to mess you up, there are some people who actually pretend to say they've forgiven their partners, but they're just doing countdown, waiting for when they can, they put things together, and once they are ready, they just leave the marriage or leave the relationship as a result of what happened many years ago. Because it can be difficult to forgive infidelity, especially if there's an emotional attachment involved and you really wanted this to work, because you just want to stay focused when you're building with somebody as opposed to just be in and out of relationship. It's exhausting. But anyway, this is for people who genuinely want to work on their relationship. If you know this is not you, please in fact, avoid this video completely. But if you know that you sincerely want to, you know, make the change, these are some of the steps that you will both need to consider. Step number one is for you to acknowledge and accept what has happened, both the betrayed and the betrayer. The betrayer will need to acknowledge how their actions have really affected, and hurt their partner, what their action has done to the relationship, because in most cases the relationship will not be the same again because the person who you hurt will have different ways to react or respond, moving forward. Say they used to cook for you, or maybe they used to allow you use their bank card, or whatever you did for one another. The hurt might make you feel like, after I did everything I could do, yet you betrayed me like this. So what's the point? I'm just going to relax. In fact, I'm going to just ignore you. In fact, I'm going to just be nosy. Anything you do, I'm going to just be checking it and all of that. On the part of the betrayed, again, you have to acknowledge how the actions of your partner's hurt has made you, how it has made you feel, and whether or not you really want to continue with the relationship. Sometimes the emotion can be a little bit roller coaster because today is like he or she seems like he's behaving and he's so remorseful. I'm gonna just try and make this work. But another day it's like, what the heck? Why did I even forgive this fool? Whatever the case might be, there should be some level of acknowledgement and acceptance of what is going on. And you have to decide whether or not you want to partake in rebuilding the trust. In some cases, we say we want to rebuild the trust, but we're here to frustrate the person who hurt us. It's like you throw it on their faces every single day. I understand how that can be because sometimes the person who betrayed you feel entitled, especially the fact that you chose to stay with them. They think if you decide to stay, that means I can carry on and find my way back because I know you're not leaving. Why some people would genuinely feel so remorseful and truly work towards changing, like they would truly repent from that, like hardly would they return to it. I've seen some couples who would say things like, "Oh, I was very unfaithful, at the beginning of my date, when I was dating my wife or my husband, and Most times men don't forgive. They won't even stay to begin with. Most men will not stay, and if they stayed, maybe those are special breed. Um, but let's say mostly on the part of the female, for some reason they have a way of just, making it feel like they're special because my husband or my boyfriend cheated on the other person, like, sorry, with the other person, and he came back to me. I am the one inside, so that should be dignifying, that should be rewarding enough. Like, that is an achievement, it's an award. Like, no, no. I always say to, especially, that's why I'm so big on singles coming to my coaching class, because I'm able to expose you to certain things you would not normally know. Like, most people who ended up in marriage didn't know they have to have boundaries. They have to have negotiables and non-negotiables. So 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, it's like, this is hard. You can't change because you people are used to what you're used to. You have both accepted each other at the same level or where you are when you met. So it becomes difficult and challenging for you to reintroduce some new factors, especially if the other person is not willing to change. So far it's working for me. So if it's not broken, why fix it? So again, let me go back to the first step, because I really wanted to stress the importance of you understanding what it is you're embarking on when there's an infidelity. If you want to forgive, you have to fully forgive. Not fully forgive in the sense that that's the first step. The first step here would just for you to acknowledge what has happened. You're going to grieve it. You're going to feel pain. Whatever that is, however it looks like, it's not just on the person who betrayed betrayed in the relationship, but the person that was betrayed as well. So the next step is for you to seek understanding. The partner who stepped out of the relationship will have to, you know, hopefully articulate and have a language to the reason why they cheated. Why did you step out of your relationship? Did you have any specific reason? Do you even know why? Do you know why? Is it because what was it exactly you were trying to fulfill? Like, at what point of your relationship did you feel the need to step out? Because there must be, but it would take someone who is truly self-aware to actually pinpoint the real reason why they stepped out. Some people will say because my wife stopped or my husband stopped giving me attention. Whenever he comes or she comes back from work. Let's say they have children. I'm stuck with the children, and I don't feel appreciated, or my wife or my husband, is not giving me attention I need. Whatever the unmet needs are, it stems from somewhere. It stems from somewhere. Cheating is a symptom of a disease, like emotional disease. So you are trying to fulfill a need. There is a vacuum. So if you're able to have language as to the reasons for why you stepped out of the relationship, it will be easy for you to walk your way back to healing. But when you lack understanding, there are so many reasons why people, but it goes back to the deep wound, that resulted to that. So there are people who, maybe they cheated on them in their previous relationship, and they're like, before you cheat on me, I'm going to be the one to cheat on you. So whatever the person's headspace is, so again, you need to identify the reason why you decided to step out of your relationship. And the person who was betrayed will also have to understand that they are not the reason why the person stepped out. People step out of a relationship or cheat because they lack character. They lack self-control, self-discipline. It's easier for someone who was betrayed to think they are the reason why, because again, the person who betrayed will want to give you some bullshit reasons. They want to tell you that if you had cooked for me, if you had slept with me every day, or at least give me sex 4 or 5 times a week, I would not have stepped out. No, you wanted to step out because you wanted to step out. Because you need to understand, in a relationship or in a marriage, things are going to change. Things are going to, maybe when you first started, you used to have sex every single day. But you can't expect it. You can't tell me you're the same person since you were born. Have you not grown? Perhaps you've grown bigger, smaller, taller. So, but you can't expect. Let me ask you, are you really pouring into the relationship the same way you poured into the relationship when you first met? Life happens. Maybe this person lost their job. Maybe the person, you know, they cut down some hours. Emotion, or maybe the person lost somebody. Or maybe the person failed an exam. Maybe this person had an injury. It could be anything, because people don't just lose sexual appetite for no reason. Are you supportive? Are you listening to them? Are you caring for them? Are you showing paying attention of some sort? That's why in my previous video, I encouraged and I stressed it so hard, the importance of couples having catch-up time with one another. Engage with one another on a daily basis so you can capture any changes and differences that happens or occurs in the course of your relationship, minute by minute, day by day. You have this pillow talk beginning of the day or beginning or end of the day. You talk about your highs and your lows. It's really important for you to check in with one another on how you feel, because changes is bound to happen or to occur in your relationship. So you can't say because you're used to having sex every single day 2 years ago, it's going to be the same. My needs have changed. I've evolved. Life has happened. Whatever that is. And when your partner talks to you, it's really important for you to pay attention to them and not just be clouded with your needs, because there are some people who really talk. I was talking to one of my clients the other day, the importance of not just communicating, but having people with emotional intelligence, people who are self-aware, people who have empathy, people who genuinely connect and focus on, on the relationship. So it's not just them. Your partner is telling you about some concerns or some needs or issues they are dealing with. You don't care. And when they are not freely exercising or having, sex with you, now you want to care. So there are some people, no matter their stress level, sex is like actually something that calms them down. So it doesn't affect the level of stress, but are they connecting with you emotionally on the same level that you would prefer or like? So again, seeking understanding, just so you're able to support one another as you go through the healing process, as you go through the rebuilding, the trust rebuilding process, because this is a process. It's going to take time. The next step is for you to commit to change. So the partner who stepped out of the relationship will have to demonstrate that they are truly remorseful for the pain they brought in the relationship. So you might decide to seek professional help so that they can actually dissect and do surgery on your emotional health, so they can actually pinpoint the real reason why you're exhibiting this behavior. So when they understand the real reason why you are numbing your pain by engaging with different people sexually, they are able to replace the ways you cope with those pain and hurt with something more healthy, as opposed to you just numbing it, because you having multiple sex with multiple people is not even solving your problem. You get up from wherever you had the sex from, and it's like, my pain has even increased. So when you focus on healing from the root cause, it's easier for you long term. So you are able to truly engage from a healthier place as opposed to from a toxic emotional place. Transparency is another step for you to consider. So for someone who is unfaithful, you must, be transparent with your partner. I tell this story almost every in all my videos about a couple. On this occasion it happened that the husband was the one who was actually stepping out of the relationship. And when the wife found out about the infidelity, oh my goodness, the man will beg every single day, reassure the wife about how sorry he was. Oh my goodness, he acted for 2 to 3 years actually. He would literally, the wife didn't even have to make the request. He offered his password to his phone to the wife. He would literally video himself. He does the video call, the video calls, whenever he went to work, whenever he finishes from work. He was quite communicative. Excuse me. He was quite communicative. Like he was actually initiating anything, to the wife before the wife even made it. So the wife pretty much could not. The wife could not, make much request because the husband was really proactive, doing video calls, sharing his password, his locations. He was so active, with a lot of things. And the wife, it actually helped the wife to relax, just to find out that he wasn't really remorseful. Maybe he was remorseful, but his action didn't demonstrate remorseful. Because what he did instead was he actually hired an external person who managed his affairs. He managed his affairs. The person had, the phone and other things they use for communication. So the wife didn't think anything of it until one of the females he was engaging with actually decided to show her face. That was how the wife found out about what was going on. So I would normally not say share password, phone records, and any form of personal device or information with your partner if you don't mean it. If you're not truly actively trying to rebuild with your partner. I mentioned before, please be honest. Be honest. Anything you do other than honesty is just compounding the stress level, the resentment. Your wife might have sex with you, or your husband might have sex with you. Let's say you're the one who actually stepped out of the relationship, whether male or female. So the partner that left or stepped out of the relationship. Your partner might, engage with you on different things, go to occasions, show up in public with you, cook for you, do all of those things for you, and she's so bitter and resentful towards you. We are actors as human beings. We have the tendency to act. But the problem with these things is that you're not fully living. I mentioned the importance of freedom when it comes to relationship. Your relationship should give you freedom. Your relationship should give you peace. Your relationship shouldn't add any level of stress to you. If everything else is adding stress to you, your relationship should be the calming place. It should not be the reason why you're stressed. Relationships are beautiful. Marriage, beautiful. It only becomes beautiful when you choose the wrong person. You will never have to deal with infidelity if you choose right. Or you have somebody that equally yokes with you, not someone who is pretentious, somebody who is not even genuine to himself or herself. It makes the whole thing, the dynamic so complex. So transparency will only work when the parties involved is truly honest and willing to rebuild trust. You can share, personal information just to give the other person the reassurance and the rest of mind they deserve or desire to actually help them to overcome, especially during that period. Because sometimes when they get to a certain level of trust, like if they're able to rebuild some sort of trust again, they might not need access to your personal information, to your emails and phone and all of those things, because they are too busy and it's too daunting to just keep an eye. Are you an FBI? Okay, so transparency will only work for people who are intentional and truly honest about working towards rebuilding trust. For people who are not, this will not work. Like I said, the purpose of this is actually to help people who genuinely want to rebuild trust, not people who are just looking for ways to hide and do more damage. Another step is for you to consider rebuilding intimacy, because oftentimes when you have that deep closeness and connection, it will be hard for your partner to want to, even try to explore another person, because you're kind of their best friend. You guys are free to talk about your emotions. You're able to spend quality time together. You're engaging in different, activities. You are talking to each other. You are attentive to one another. You're supporting one another. Like you're both on the same page. You're truly both on the same page, and you want your union to win. Your partner is not your enemy. You're not trying to resent them just because they haven't provided something for you. Because if we are honest, you are not providing everything for your partner as well. Everything they need, you're not actually fulfilling it. So if we are able to show gratitude and appreciation for what we are to one another, we will not be so trivial to just looking for any given opportunity to cheat and find a way to justify the foolishness. Okay? So rebuilding your intimacy is one of the huge or biggest steps for you to consider. You have to be patient and understanding. There are days you just be like, heck, why did I even choose to forgive this person? Because it's just being a fool right now. There are days you want to say, yeah, I'm happy that I gave you grace. So it could be back and forth, back and forth. There are things that you will do that does not relate to, the infidelity, but it kind of connects with, I'm really mad at you. That could trigger it. And you start to actually throw that on the person's face. It's almost as if any mistake, whether it pertains to infidelity or not, just because I'm mad at you, I'm going to just throw anything, just anything to hurt you back. And I've heard some dumb people use things like, oh, because you're always throwing it at me, so I decided to just go and do it. That's foolish. That's a foolish thing for anyone to ever think of doing. That is so lame. So especially for the person who betrayed and the person who they betrayed, you both have to be understanding and patient, because the person who betrayed has a lot of work to do, because you're trying to actually like take the relationship to the level where, or close to the level where you were before the infidelity, which can be difficult because it's not just by your efforts now. Again, it has to do with how the other person is feeling. And you could be doing everything right by the book, like literally. And one mistake is like you're taking back all the way to where you started from, and it's as if my effort is not really appreciated. You cost it. You cost it. Then the person who they betrayed, like I said, is a roller coaster journey. You're back and forth with your feelings. 1 minute is like, why am I forgiving this fool? Another minute is like, you know what? I'm giving you grace because I'm not even perfect. Or The person who, betrayed is like you're being punished for literally everything and anything. Your conversations, your feelings may not matter at some point because it's like, listen, I'm not feeling you like that. You could get some insult, disrespect sometimes. It's almost as if you deserve it, but I want to stress that it's really crucial for you to give grace to one another. Be patient. Oftentimes, forgiveness is not the first step. Forgiveness is a process, is a choice. We Some people who did the betrayal would imagine because you love me, or at least you said you love me, you should be able to forgive me. Just forgive me. That is a tall order. It's a process. You choose to forgive. That is your human right, whether you want to forgive or not. But when you say you've forgiven, I want to actually squash some myth about forgiveness. Some people think that when you forgive, you have to forget. No, forgiveness does not mean forget. Forgiving someone does not mean that you kind of accept what they've done to you. Forgiving them, letting go does not also mean forget. So you're just letting go of the resentment, because when somebody hurts you, there's a part of you that will be numb to them just because you're angry and upset with them. And you have this emotional connection with them, especially if it's in marriage. You're already married. It's almost as if you might feel stuck in the beginning, but you're going to go through different feelings and emotions. But forgiveness does not mean the person who hurt you was right, or you deserve the hurt. Or forgiveness does not mean forget it. No, forgiveness means freedom. It means freedom. Freedom from resentment, freedom from harboring poison in yourself, freedom from living in bondage, because that's emotional bondage. When you share space with someone that closely, and you're constantly pissed by their presence, talk more of their actions, that is a built up disaster waiting to explode. Life is too short. It will be total waste of your life to just have carrying this poison everywhere you go, just because somebody did something you are not in control of. This is a choice that person made. You can only control your behavior and your actions, but not someone else's, unfortunately. And someone made this choice based on the vacuum they are carrying, based on their selfishness, based on their needs. This has nothing to do with you. It's just like drinking poison and waiting for the rats to die. That was a very good analogy, by the way. You're the one taking the poison down, and you're expecting the rats to die from the poison. How does that how does that work? So forgiveness is actually freedom. It's freedom. It's freedom from emotional bondage, because when you don't forgive, tell me how you feel. Tell me the benefits for you so far, if that's you. Leave that in the comment section, by the way. I'm just curious. Because it just tightens your body. Your heart is so heavy. And you can even end up having some, internal illnesses like anxiety, depression. It might be linked somehow. I don't have the science behind it or any statistics, to cancer, blood pressure. You're unable to sleep well, and that can linger and trigger some other ailments or illnesses that you're not even aware of. And you go to the hospital, they cannot quite connect. They can't even find what's wrong. And some people take it straight to spirituality. It's really crucial for you to, consider forgiveness, but you have to understand what it is not. It does not mean that you deserve the hurt. It does not mean that you should let it go. But it does not also mean that, doesn't mean the person will just go scot free. The person is suffering. If only you understand that the person who cheats is drowning, just like in an ocean where someone is swimming and they are drowning, and you are looking at them flapping their body thinking this person is having fun. They are seeking to breathe, like they need that liberation, that healing. So the best way for you to help your partner, if this is them, is to actually consider taking them to therapy, because the therapists are emotional doctors. They are able to open up, you know them, go far back to their childhood, their adulthood, whatever, you know trauma they've gone through, their experiences that led them to the point. Because some people, you know because they have been betrayed by their primary caregivers, let's say parents or whoever was the primary caregiver. Maybe they suffered from abandonment. So when they come to a relationship, or maybe they were always invalidated as a child, they were always condemned. It's like you're no good, you can't amount to anything. They constantly heard those words from some people who are supposed to be, loving them unconditionally, and they grow up in a relationship where that is not happening. Even though you show them love, all the love they you would think any normal human being would accept, because they were not taught to accept love, they reject it, so they end up sabotaging. Some people have, like, people who have gone through, who still carry their childhood wound, because we all do, let's be honest, who haven't healed from it. They end up sabotaging love. They don't know how to receive love. I had this couple who, a great man, but his wife was just pretty much in every man's bed. And this man adored this girl. Oh my goodness. Adored her. This is the kind of man many women would actually pray for. And this girl doesn't know how to receive love, because the only way she was shown love growing up was through money. Like, she never lacked anything financially. She didn't know her birth father. Her mother was, um, you know, always from one man to another. So all she saw was money, finance, cooks, maids, all of those things, but she never had any other kind of love shown to her. So when this man that she was dating, of course they have children together, the man does not have money. She is actually the one from money. She come from money, and this guy just works normal job, like not even earning so much, like phenomenal for somebody who has money, like, or come from household where money wasn't a problem. But he had everything else. He's faithful, he's loyal, he's supportive, he's a great father. But she doesn't know how to accept it. One of the reasons she said she was sleeping around was because she was looking for someone to make good love to her. Like, you see, her boyfriend has never been able to satisfy her sexually. So that was why she was going from one man to another looking for sexual satisfaction. So it can show up in different ways. I know we're speaking about forgiveness, and here we are, but that's what forgiveness does. Forgiveness would free you from emotional bondage. So forgiveness is important, but it's a choice. I know I said this earlier that it's really crucial. That's why for me, when I'm coaching single people, It's always an honor for me to expose them to a lot of things that they would avoid 10, 15 years down the line. Like many people who are already in a long-term relationship or in a marriage, it's almost as if it's too late. Like they are working their way back and it's difficult because it's extra challenge. It's familiarity. Your partner is already familiar with us operating without no form of boundaries. And here you are telling me about negotiables and non-negotiables and boundaries and all of that. They think you're being influenced by somebody external, and please don't listen to them because they want to spoil us. They want to scatter this relationship. You know what I'm talking about? So again, use certain boundaries, clear boundaries, so that your partner will understand that this is not a behavior that you want to continue to tolerate. And you have to be able to hold them accountable to it. Your partner will try to breach, to stretch, to push the boundaries. But it's up to you whether you want to make sure that my boundaries are here to protect me, but not for you to abuse it. So set a boundary that will be in the favor of your relationship, and clearly share the expectations with your partner so that hopefully they're able to work in alignment of what the relationship is trying to achieve. Lastly, it's for you to consider, I know I've already touched upon it before, to seek professional help. Go to therapy. Not only will they help you with insights, tools, strategies, but you're able to actually work and support one another as you heal from the emotional wound that results to infidelity. They're able to actually kind of dissect your emotion, like they do, like physical operation, but here in with your emotion, to know the real cause, the root cause of the problem or issues you're facing. Seek professional help. One of the easiest and the most efficient ways for you to truly forgive and heal, for you to forgive and heal, is for you to work on yourself. If you don't know how to be faithful, it's going to be hard for you to be faithful. Because if you know the root cause of the impact of the why you're unfaithful, you may not be able to help yourself. So seek professional help. Or if you know, one of the ways for you to do like a DIY kind of thing, if you don't want to go to therapy because it can be expensive or whatever reason, it's very important for you to truly consider deeply reflecting how you always come about the need for you to go and check someone out. Maybe your partner is not paying attention to you or something. You're able to ask yourself, if you can remember, especially at the early stage of your life, usually between, of course, 0 is variable, let's say 0 to 6 years old, whether you can remember any form of abandonment or resistance or any kind of inner childhood wound. There are some great resources and books you can use to start exploring, to see how you can connect some of the issues that you have now with your past. You will always see the link, as if you don't want to go to therapy, because a therapist knows the right question to ask you. They are able to guide you and walk you way back to your past, so they bring you to your present and take you to your future. That's the job of a therapist. So I know I said lastly, but actually lastly, you have to be consistent. You have to be intentional. This is a process. It's an ongoing process. Both parties, both of you will definitely try to prioritize your relationship. You have to work together as a team. You have to be very patient and understanding, and have clear goals in terms of how you want to move forward with your relationship. You have to be consistent with that. You can't just stay faithful. Just like the story I told you guys previously about the guy who was acting faithful for just a period of 3 years before one of the side chicks came to the wife. to expose him, and the wife found out he was using, a third party to actually coordinate his escapades, you know. So, um, consistency is key. Consistency is key. For me, I would always suggest, especially when it came to being transparent, where it says you can, share your personal information, like give access to your personal information, let's say your phone, passwords, and all of that. It's not even about what you do when I'm watching, it's what you do when I'm not watching. That's why when people ask me about characters, I look for, especially when I'm coaching clients and I ask them what it is they're looking for. They should describe the character. I always kind of nibble and put in integrity, because that's what integrity means. It's not what you do when I'm watching, it's what you do when I'm not watching. As always, thank you so much. If this has helped you or any of my videos, please don't forget to leave your comments. And if you are looking to work with a professional love coach, relationship coach, you can connect with me through my email or through my website, as you can see on the screen. You can book your session with me. You can also email me if you have specific need, if you're looking to. I actually work with singles, I work with people who are dating, and I work with people who are in marriages or even long-term committed relationships, and they have any relationship issues. I'm more than happy to work with you, but I work predominantly virtually, not in person. That means you can connect with me no matter your location, as long as you have internet access and you have any form of digital device, and then you're able to make payment online. Of course, we are willing and ready to go. Thank you as always, and I hope you have an amazing and productive day, rest of your day. Bye.